Alrighty, so Gen Z is finding new ways to avoid working, It's absolutely kind of crazy because, like, there's also different ways that a lot of people do to try to get more flexibility. But the fact that Gen Z is finding new ways to stop working is kind of interesting to me because they're the only generation to really try it. Like, there are some people in the past that have done it. Like, I have an uncle that lives in an RV, but, like, there's not very many people that will actually do this like all the time to like avoid working just in general. Like that's fucking crazy. Today we're going to break down some of the ways that Gen Z is avoiding working, and I find that really cool. And also guys, this video is inspired by the Philosophical Gamer. He makes some really interesting videos about working. I do like to watch his channel a lot, so he kind of inspired me to make this, so let's go. So the first thing people are doing now is that a lot of people are at their jobs saving up some money to buy like a used RV or something, or buy a van, because van life has increased over the years, but it's gotten even bigger more than ever because of inflation and everything that's happened after COVID, and the rise of living is just outrageous, right? So they decided to go buy an RV and customize it and actually buy like solar for electricity and try to find unique ways to like you live off the grid. Now some of them are living in like warehouse parking lots, some of them are going to like other ways to park for free, like Walmart parking lots for a couple days. And there's some where like my uncle, he actually lives in Florida, right? But he lives next to a gas station. But as long as he was able to get free parking at the gas station, all he had to do was just stock soda in the morning, just to get like a free soda too, and just to help out a company under the table, which is kind of wild. Like I didn't even know that was even possible. But yes, there's a lot of people that are avoiding this to avoid working, and I find that really cool and a little interesting as well. Another way that a lot of people are avoiding working nowadays is that a lot of people are buying tiny houses. There's a lot of people who save up a bit of money to go buy a tiny house and they go build it out somewhere in the fucking woods or something, right? It's kind of crazy because there's like land that's not bought. So there's a lot of people that are getting tiny houses as well, and they're just like straight up getting them from like Amazon or Home Depot, because a lot of the cost for a tiny house is around like $20,000, like $15,000 to $20,000. On paper, it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you don't have the funds and if you're constantly trying to save up money, then yeah, it's like a big investment. Now, the hardest part for a lot of this is a lot of people are finding a hard time like where to build these things, right? But a lot of these people are doing it either in their fucking parents' backyard, or they're also doing it just anywhere, like fucking in the middle of nowhere that has open land. And some of them are even buying land by using their grandparents' inheritance or something. It's just fucking insane how creative people are getting away just to avoid working. Now it is more of a hassle, in my opinion, just to work a little bit part time. But honestly, I understand why some people are doing this to avoid working, because it could be a bitch having to deal with everything. And if you have an entry level job and you don't have any other way to make money, then yeah, I can understand that to an extent. But hopefully these people are safe, because there's a lot of people nowadays that are not as safe when they're doing this. Now this one's a very common one that a lot of people may have know, is that a lot of people are not paying for an apartment anymore, and they're just straight up living in their car, so then they don't have to pay any rent, and their rent is basically their car insurance. And I gotta say is that like it's not a terrible way if you can be creative with it. Like there's some people that are getting absolutely creative with it to make it more comfortable, but I wouldn't say it's very safe, because unfortunately when I lived in my car, it's because I was transitioning apartments due to fucking my apartment having a squatter and shit, so it made me become like a little homeless for a couple weeks. Is that when I was living in my car, it really wasn't that fun, because like when I was living in it, it was cold, it was winter, it was like in the rain and shit, and there were some times where some friends offered me a place to stay temporarily because they knew I have a next apartment lined up and shit. It was absolutely hard, and I gotta respect those people who do it, because especially during the summertime, because I remember there was another time before that where I was also transitioning into an apartment where I had a big fallout and my lease ended because of my credit score of my family and shit, that it was extremely hot and really hard. So these extreme temperatures is hard to adjust inside of a car, because you can't always keep your AC on, and there's times where you have to get creative and take showers and stuff. Now thankfully, I was able to take showers during like the Planet's Fitness or a community center, thankfully, but it's still a bitch to kind of even live in it in the first place. So salute, big respect to all those people who are making it work. It's honestly the most uncomfortable one, to be honest. Now, this one's pretty cool. Like, I find this one interesting is that there's a lot of people that are using AI to help themselves make money by making themselves either like high quality thumbnails for people to buy for like 50 bucks a piece. Sounds too good to be true, but it is a thing that a lot of people do, and they're doing this so they can avoid working for somebody else. And I can understand this because, like, yes, you're not fully getting out of work, but at least you're getting out of working for somebody else. And honestly, that's what I kind of wanted to do in life, you know, and to be able to do something like that. But fuck, dude, and some of them be making good money too. Some people are also learning to make money through Chat GPT apparently, and there's also people learning to use AI to fucking invest in like other programs to help them teach like programs to other students and stuff on their own business. I find it really cool that they're taking advantage of this in a really healthy way because there's some people that will use AI for the worst. Like some people were using AI to cheat on their homework or something. But at least there's some good things coming out of AI when it comes to this. I know it will replace some jobs eventually in the future, but at least they're using some of it to get some skills for the future as well for financial gain. Now, what kind of blows my mind too is that there are some people who are hikers, right, that love to travel the mountains and stuff, and some people are crazy enough to go get a tent, go out in a tent and live in the wilderness outright with a tent, and that's it. No, some people don't have apartments anymore with it. Some people just go out in the wild and just straight up fucking hang out with the bears and whatever in the fucking nature. I find it really cool on paper, like it sounds interesting, but in reality, dude, you might need certain things in order to survive. Like you definitely need water, obviously, and other luxuries, but the thing is that you need something to defend yourself too when it comes to bears. But I do find it really interesting though. Like there are some people who love to sit by the campfires even during the winters and stuff and just be able to hang out and enjoy themselves. I find it really cool. I do find it very old school and traditional way like the caveman days, but fuck, dude, like some people are really tough for even doing that, and they're very brave. And I will say though is that they definitely would need like a weapon to avoid like fighting off a bear or something, because them bears, bro, depending on what state you live in, do not fuck with them bears. They'll fuck you up if you're not careful. And it's not just everyone just doing some crazy shit like that to avoid working. Some people are doing some interesting things at home too, where they're making like extremely cheap budget meals where it's like they spend not even like $3 to $10 a day. Now my budget was like $10 a day for a long time, but these people are finding really crazy ways to make like extremely cheap meals. They have like some menus online, like the Dollar Tree menu, where you can look at some creative meals through the Dollar Tree store where you can make. There's some people making really cheap meals by just going to like the clearance aisle at grocery stores or going to food pantries and everything they need to do in order to survive. Find it very interesting that they're doing this to avoid working though, because I've never seen people like try that just to avoid it. But hey, props to them for making it work. I guess being resourceful in this situation really does help a lot. Like I understand the food pantry one though, because it's a little like of a double-edged sword, because you can be taking away people that really need it more. But I will say, for those people who do need the food pantry but they don't want to take away from people, I do highly advise going there but scheduling the very last booking so everyone else at least has had a turn first. Now this last one I'm going to tell you guys is very interesting because I've actually experienced these people through the InstaWork app, where there's a lot of couples and people that will come in groups. They're traveling together now and like being able to work off the gig economy by just using work apps like InstaWork, Wonolo, etc. And they're just picking up random gigs around the world while traveling. And the interesting part is they're living in really cheap motels and they're splitting the cost of it for like, you know, like of 3 to 4 people for like 25 to 50 bucks a pop. And then they just, you know, go around and just travel while they can part time, which I find very interesting because there's a lot of people who don't want to work full time while traveling, but that's like the cheapest way. And obviously they stacked a bunch of cash before they did this too. But it's like, wow, it's really cool that some people are really finding new, unique ways to kind of get around the world like that. And I do find it kind of cool that you don't have to be rich in order to do it. You do have to work for it a little bit, you know, unfortunately, but it's kind of cool because I know there's a lot of people who are not willing to work while they're on vacation. But fuck, dude, this is like a lifestyle to them. And I find it really interesting because it makes their vacations and travels a bit longer than the average person. In conclusion, that everyone has their own life they want to live, right? Like not everyone has to live their life the same exact way. So I do not judge any of these type of people who want to do these crazy things to get out of working, because not everyone likes to work like that, you know? Everyone wants other things out of life, and I don't blame them, dude. Like realistically, you can get out of working for a traditional schedule, but it's just really hard to find. But I gotta say is that I got some really good news for you guys. So starting July 13th, I'm starting Amazon Flex Schedule, which is the scheduling app through the warehouse, but I schedule my own shifts. And it's cool because I can still work full time and everything, be able to pick my own hours. I'm excited for this because I'm not working overnights anymore. There's going to be some shifts where I'm going to be working like 11 to 6:30, or some of them will be at night, but not as late as like not 5 in the morning. It'd be like as late as 2 in the morning at the latest, which is a big game changer because working at 5 in the morning is not bad, but fuck, dude, it is not easy and very unhealthy. But in order for able to still keep this hustle going, instead of working for a year doing this, I decided to keep this Flex app or the Flex schedule and do it for a couple years instead, because in case I get burnt out, I don't have to just quit. When I get burnt out, I can take like a couple days off, like 3 to 4 days off of resting, and get back to the grind and save like crazy and try to pursue this YouTube channel when I can. And it's actually really cool because you'll be able to get everything back up too, because right now my numbers are not doing that great, but it's okay, guys, because it's all as a hobby as well. I'm trying to balance this out between a hobby and a business at the same time, like Wyler said in one of his videos. It's definitely a difficult thing to do at times, but it is fun, and I do enjoy making this type of content for everybody. Anyways, everybody, what are your guys' thoughts about Gen Z not wanting to work? Do you guys find it really unique? Do you guys find it kind of lazy or whatever? Feel free to let me know, because in my honest opinion, I don't think it's the worst thing they could have done. Like, some of them are fucking crazy for some of the ways they're trying to learn how to live cheaply, but some of them are like pretty cool and realistic. Like the budget one is really interesting. I like the most. The other ones, it's not my cup of tea, but you know what? Like I said, it's their life. Anyways, y'all, I gotta take a shower and get ready for work, and I'll see y'all in the next video, so peace out.